Greetings, fellow mayors. This is Captain Obvious, and welcome back to the Masterclass series in Coastal Flatland City. This episode will be about how to establish early economy and city development. Okay, whenever starting your city or restarting your game, the first thing I like to do is check the stats. So our electricity is good. We need more water. We're just gonna create mental notes, and we also need garbage. Health, we have 0 hospitals. We have a few sick people. We have some fire issues, and we're gonna need another police station, and we have 0% educated citizens. So everyone is uneducated, but that works for now because our commercial requires no education, and that also goes for our industrial area. Okay, so let's start with the garbage issue. So that's the first thing that I saw. So I'm just gonna add 2 more, and that should spike that up ever so slightly. Then let's add in a police station so that it doesn't become an issue in the future. We're just gonna go with this one, and I'm just gonna place it right over here. Okay, now our income is shot. So for now, that is all we are going to do. So let's go ahead and add in our transportation. So we need a tram depot. I'm going to place that right over here. Okay, that should work, and our income is definitely down. So let's go ahead and create our stops. So for our stop, I'm going to add one in the middle, and I'm going to place it right over here. And then this is going to rotate back, and I'm gonna place it over here. Okay, it went in the wrong direction, so I need to put it on top there. Okay, there you go. Now it was working. I placed it on the wrong side of the road. Okay, then we put a stop here. I don't put a stop here because if I place a stop there, there could be tram traffic, and it's gonna create hiccups there. So place it like closer to the edge so that there's space for more trams. And then we're going to rotate back, same concept. Don't put it near the back of the interchange. So I'm going to put it over here, and we're going to create another loop for this side, and this will complete our loop. All right, so our income is down. The other thing that we need to check is our budget, so we need to spike this up at 12%. Okay, looking good. And I'm going to go ahead and add in more residential. So let's go ahead and zone in. So adding zones will help increase your income. So I'm going to add some pathways in between, and I'm going to try to align it with the roads on the other side. Then I'm gonna do selective zoning. So when it comes to high density, I try to make it 4x4 to 3x3, never by 2, because the buildings that appear is not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to, so as you can see, this is 3 or 3x4, as long as it's not by 2. So I'm gonna wait for that to fill in, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. So this one is a little tricky, because no matter what happens, there's going to be 2x2. So I'm just going to make this, and we're gonna have a gap in the middle, which is completely fine. Okay, then I also have selective buildings that I dislike. So for instance, these ones with the parking lots on the sides, they just don't blend well. So I prefer the square ones, but not these tall ones here. So I'm going to delete them until we get the right buildings that I'm looking for. Okay, so that should help with the income a little. And let's go ahead and add more zoning on this side. Oops, we're broke and I didn't notice, but I think that's fine. All we need to do is we just need to zone. So I'm going to go ahead and just make one long one, and I could always just come back and kind of delete the ones that I don't like. Okay, slowly yet surely we are now in the positive. So all we need to do is just continue zoning residential, and that should help with our income. And let's go ahead and add in a few commercial as well. So here I want to zone here, but this thing is zonable and I want to remove the zone area. So let's go ahead and find that street. Okay, so we've removed the zoning on the roundabout itself. Don't forget to reactivate it, otherwise you will dezone some of your roads or your buildings. Then I'm gonna go ahead and zone this area. Okay, now we're in the positive. We've actually gained more. So we're earning 2,000 per week. That is excellent. And our trams are going through, and I kind of made a mistake. We didn't change the type, so let's use some of the new ones. So we're currently at 90 capacity, but let's take a look on what the amount of passengers. So it doesn't get full. Eventually it may, but I like the model of this thing. So we're gonna keep it a little higher though. So we're gonna go with the 110, and we'll leave the color as is. Okay, so far so good. So this guy is complaining because of the noise on this side. Let's try to minimize the noise by adding some trees on this end. I doubt that it'll work because it's simply too close, so I may have to dezone them. Oh, on second thought, it is somewhat working. Okay, there you go. So that's how to solve some noise pollution other than dezoning the entire thing. So hopefully this guy will get, he won't complain anymore. And I'm going to add in a few more industry zoning. And this is going to be the last portion that I'm going to do, because I don't want this to grow any further. All right, so let's go ahead and go back in the middle, and there you go. It disappeared. We don't have any hospitals, so yeah, so that fixed itself. And we're gonna go back to detailing the middle part. So this is a pedestrian street, and you can't attach anything on it except zone buildings, but you can't like put in ploppables, I believe. Or what I really want to do is add in park in the middle. And in order to do that, I need to convert this into a one-way with tram tracks. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But by doing this, this creates a new problem. So what's going to happen is, as you can see, vehicles are going through, right? And it's going to cause more traffic in the middle. So what a solution to this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this into a separate district. So that is a separate district. And then our park area, we are going to extend it here. So our pedestrian area is just this little thing, and I use it just to activate the pedestrian streets, which we do not really need. All right, so to stop the vehicles from going in the middle, I am going to add a policy, and we're gonna make this into Old Town, where only residents and businesses can use the area for motor vehicles, and it's going to ban all other motor traffic. So all right, so it's in, and while I'm here, I'm going to make this into Heart of Korea zoning. So I'm going to be zoning high density commercial here eventually, but before then, let's go ahead and add in our park. So I'm going to create a park area. So we are earning 2,500 basically. So I'm gonna create one park here, and then add another gate on the other side. Then we're going to add more gates towards the middle. So this is not aligned to this thing, unfortunately, but this is a semi-modded game, so I'm going to use Move It mod just to align it. So it's not total abuse, it's just alignment. And let's go ahead and connect the paths together. So when it comes to paths, I like to use the zoo path, especially when they become into bridges. So let's go ahead and extend this. Notice how there are no longer any vehicles going through the roundabout where we added the Old Town District policy. And meanwhile, the goal here is to create elevated pedestrian paths to go over the roundabout so there's less Sims using the crosswalk. And we are also going to extend the elevated pedestrian paths on all 4 sides of the roundabout. Okay, so let's check out what we did so far. So I'm using again the zoo pedestrian path. So as you can see, it's going right through. And this has no electricity, but that's okay. Okay, so now it's powered. So before we added the city park gates, we were already earning 2,500 a week, which is a decent income for less than a 10,000 population city. And I am adding a city park to further increase our income, so in a near future episode, we can easily afford to establish our first industry DLC. So creating a city park, a zoo, or amusement park from the Park Life DLC is crucial and necessary to easily transition to Industries DLC. We will need about 500,000 in the bank to create our first Industry DLC. Okay, our park leveled up. Let's check out our income. Now we're at 1,600. And let's go ahead and add in more park assets so that it will level up. Here, I'm adding more city park assets to further increase interest to visit your park and the nearby future high-density Heart of Korea commercial. And this will also increase the park's visitor count. By preference, you can opt to skip the city park and just increase your income by zoning more. Okay, so I think we've added enough. We're gonna detail this a little more, and I'm going to, again, as mentioned, I'm going to add in high density zoning in the middle. So we're gonna leave this for now. So in the reason why we can't add in yet is because we need education. So we have 0 education in the city. So let's go ahead and add in our first campus over here. Our income is actually quite low, so we have to be very careful on how we do this. So we should probably use the cheaper buildings. Oops. So this is lacking water. Oh, that's right. We need more water towers. All right, let's start with the water towers then. Okay, that should suffice for now. And let's go ahead and add in a campus over here. As mentioned, I'm adding schools to educate our citizens so we can start to zone high-density commercial, which requires elementary, high school, and university level education. Zoning high-density commercial will increase income, but it will also increase traffic in the high-density commercial area. So I highly suggest to zone only pocket blocks at certain areas and provide transportation to encourage commute instead of driving to your high-density commercial, which is exactly what we already set up in our roundabout. Okay, this looks good so far, and we need some type of activity, so I'm going to add in a stadium, a small soccer field, or something that fits. Okay, that is going to work. Let's go ahead and upgrade the areas around it. Okay, our first campus is done. Looks pretty neat. Go ahead and add a university. So I want to place our university on this side. So I will need to move all of these things. Okay, now I can delete these. This thing costs 90. You know what? I'm going to take a loan just so that I could purchase it immediately. So I'm going to take this. So I'm going to place it right over here. Then I'm going to add in the park with birches on the side. This is like my new favorite park. So this blends in together quite well. You can see it has similar trees, similar layup. So we're going to put that there. And we just need to decorate the back part. So I'm just planting similar trees. So it looks like the area or this park looks a lot bigger. Okay, so we have a high school, we have a university. So everything should pick up quite well. Let's check our traffic flow. Traffic flow is at 90, but we're only at 9,000 population, so can't be too proud of that. Let's go ahead and start zoning the inner side. It's going to abandon because we don't have enough educated citizens, but nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to be zoning different sizes so that we have a variety of buildings. Okay, so far so good. We have a positive income, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the the design on the inner part, and that will also help us generate more income so we could purchase more things. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of spruce up this area. Yep, so again, these guys are going to abandon until we have the right amount of education, but that's completely fine. So I'm not too worried about this. I'm pretty confident that it's going to eventually plop in properly. Okay, so far so good. So as you can see, exactly as I anticipated, these guys will eventually settle in. You notice that I did not demolish a single abandoned building. I just let it build, and eventually our education kicked in, and so now it is working properly. So the next thing that we want to do is we want this to level up, because right now they're only like level 2, level 3. So we're going to add in more things around it, mostly parks, so that it will level up. With that said, I'm going to set up another area here. Yep, let's go ahead and add in a another stadium. So we kind of have this large open space area. I'm going to extend the road just to add like a sea or water feature. Yeah, I think that looks great. Okay, now it's just a matter of filling in the gaps. Okay, our center is looking good. There appeared to be traffic while I was designing that. Let's check our traffic flow. We're at 91. It's not actual traffic. I suppose it was just a delivery delay. So while we're here, let's go ahead and make sure everything is fine with the city. So let's check our electricity. Electricity is low. Water is good. Garbage is a little low. We still don't have a hospital. Our fire safety is not that well. We have enough jail capacity, and our education is excellent. We, however, need more high schools. Okay, so we need a hospital, and we also need more schools. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and first add in a school. Okay, I think our center is completely filled in. That looks pretty darn good. Take a look from all angles. So when you're coming in from the highway, going through here, we have a really nice path. Look at this. We got the palms on the side. Then we got bridges under bridges. Oh, that is so beautiful. Look at that going through here, and I expect these buildings to still grow. I'm gonna keep this low though, because I want to be able to see the view of that building. So I'm gonna make this historical, and then the buildings on the side, I expect them to level up. As I mentioned, that this thing wanted to level up, and in the back is looking great. We have another campus here. See, let's fill in more spaces. So we have this police station here. I mentioned that we wanted to add a hospital. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what we can afford. Okay, now we have a huge hospital, and all the wee-woos are going out to collect all the sick people. Let's change that, and all the wee-woos are gonna return to the facility. There, it's coming back just to change the vehicle model. There goes our wee-woos. All right, let's go ahead and kind of zone or update this area. So our park doesn't extend here. Let me go ahead and make that bigger then. you know, there's no reason why I shouldn't like just consume the entire area. Okay, looking good so far. Now we can totally afford to upgrade our roads, so I am going to go ahead and do that. So we're about 700 away from unlocking the crematorium, which is what we badly need. But for now, we need to add in another power. So I'm going to add this thing here, and I think we can add another. Okay, so we won't have any electrical issues for a while. Okay, so far so good. Let's check out our zoning area. So some of them have started to level up, which is great. And they have the right building. So again, this thing I don't like. I'm gonna demolish that, and I'm gonna check the rest. So this I also don't like. So this one's leveled up, which is nice. Here I kind of zoned like immediately, which is not the best move. So I'm gonna start to break things up a little. So for example, add cuts in between, and I also need to add pathways. So I'm going to do that now before these guys completely level up. So another thing to consider is, what is this main road going to look like? Right, so this one, we have our own kind of design here. So we have an elevated main road. So for now, it's not active. And then on the sides, we have our routes going in one direction here, then the other direction there. And this will also require its own design. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the amusement park with decorations or trees. Then I am simply just going to make it go across. Oh, that was the wrong road. Okay, there we go. This is the right one. Then we kind of need some cuts going in between. Okay, so I added in this, and he has trees on the side, and we are going to change this into the California palm. So now it looks like this, and then I expect these guys to level up, and it's gonna look fantastic when you go through this avenue. Okay, looking good so far. I like this area. So I think this whole area here is pretty much done. I could fill this in with something. So we still have small holes to fill in. And we are now a big city, which opened up another tile, and we also have crematorium, which is very important. So I'm gonna add that almost immediately. But first, let's go ahead and continue populating this side. Okay. Wow, a lot of the areas are filled in. What we're missing are crematorium, so I'm gonna go ahead and add that. So I will be using this one, the Crematorium Memorial Park, which is pretty neat. So I'm just gonna put her right here. Very simple, and then just add in trees around it. Okay, that looks good, and we need to add like a few more wherever we can scatter them. So as I mentioned, I wanted to fill this in with something, so now we can add in that crematorium as well. Okay, so far so good. Let's check out the stats of the city again. So our electricity is good, our water is fine. We may need a few more garbage facilities, but I need to create another area. We need to totally remove this, and we're gonna replace this with, again, residential and commercial. So that means all of this will have to be relocated elsewhere. We have other tiles, so I'm gonna place that here. So we're gonna start creating our industry in a future episode. But so far, this is looking pretty neat. Let's check out the other stats. So our high school is good, elementary is good, university is good, our uneducated is reduced. We still have more uneducated, which is good because you need them for the industrial areas and for your generic commercial areas. We have a few abandoned buildings, but it's nothing too alarming. Our traffic flow is at 89%, so we dropped just 90. Okay, so it flickers. And let's check out our design. So this looks pretty neat. So we have our low density here, which comes to like a medium, and then our high density towards the end over here, and we have a nice avenue design here. So a reason why I place like trees, so sometimes I would manually plant trees, or in this case I added a pedestrian path with trees. And the reason why I do that instead of using, like, for example, one of these with already trees in the middle, is because sometimes I want to use some assets that doesn't have any of that those things. So for instance, I could opt to convert this into a tram, or maybe even a monorail, right? So that's possible. Right now I'm just going to keep it as is. So we're going to figure that out in the future, but at least we have a design right here. Look at that, right? And the buildings are growing as expected. So we have a very neat drive right through here, right? Really neat. Going all the way across, and then eventually we're gonna start designing a waterfront, even though this is somewhat like a waterfront already. Fellow mayors, this is my most developed city in just 2 episodes, and we have no major city issues, as it is a masterclass beginner's guide to early economy and development. If you enjoyed the episode, learned something, and are looking forward for more, hit that like button and please consider subscribing. Until then, this is Captain Obvious. Thank you for watching and for choosing to fly with Obvious Airlines. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next flight.